there are a lot of things that I think about. One thing that I keep thinking about, and everything I think about it, it causes me to struggle. And perhaps it's because I don't quite understand why this is. Here's what it is. So we live in a world of opportunity, of unlimited possibilities. We have things like the internet. We basically live in a permissionless age where we can do things without the cost of actually doing the things. Like in the internet, like when you have the internet, if you want to share your thoughts with billions of people, you can just out there and share what you think. You may not reach the billion people, but you may reach a fair amount, depending on how you say and where you say it. Yet, we have so many opportunities, so many possibilities, yet, even if people know what to do and how to do it, yet, most people don't do anything. And I don't quite understand that. And one theory, one hypothesis that I have, that I've come up with, is that most people lack a sense of urgency. What does that mean? A sense of urgency means that you do and act in a certain way because time, money, age, resources, etc. are limited. And if you don't do it now, there might be a time where you may not do it. But it seems like people either do not think about those things or are not considering those things, which is troublesome for me, which causes me to think a lot about why that is and how it happens. Because again, there might be a lot of motivated people out there, but we need more motivated people in order to create the future that we want to create. It can't just be a few people who actually do and create things. We need way more. We need way more people, which causes me to think, how can we instill and develop a sense of urgency in most people? And for me, for example, when I was reading Steve Jobs biography by Walter Isaacson, one of the things that really stuck with me was Steve Jobs' sense of urgency. That guy just knew that he had to do things because his time was limited. One story that I always think about is that he had an interview and he had at Stanford University, he was giving a talk, right? And there were these reporters and all of this, and they were gonna give another talk at the same college, and they were all there, and he was busy, he was an important person, right? And he saw this lady, a reporter, that wanted to ask him a question, and according to him, that lady was so attractive, but because there were so many reporters, the lady left. And what Steve Jobs did was, when he realized that lady left, he said to himself, Memento Mori, which translates from Italian, remember you will die. So what did Steve Jobs do? He left everything and went after her. And he asked her out for dinner, and that lady is Laureen Jobs, which ended up being Steve Jobs' wife, and I think one of the richest women in the world now. Memento Mori, that phrase, is something that I think a lot about, which, like I said, means remember you will die. And that's something that gives me a sense of urgency to do things, to wake up every morning and read, make a video, write an essay, think about that company that I want to start with, that I want to start, and be present in your relationships, be present in my work, in my relationships, and do things that I wouldn't otherwise do. And going back to the Steve Jobs example, he would tell himself that phrase every single day in the mirror. He would ask himself in the mirror every morning as he's brushing his teeth, if I had to die today, what's something I would do? And again, I'm paraphrasing a lot of these stories, but that's the general idea. But people don't have that sense of urgency. And because of that, we need to create it. And a way to create it is that, remember, we're not immortal. And at one point we will die. And one of the things that I think a lot about is that when you die, we have regretted this thing. And the reality is, when you are in your deathbed and you're looking back at your life, you're not going to regret the things that you didn't do. You're probably going to regret the things that you wish you did. And that's why, when I die, I wish I would have made another video. I wish I would have talked to the person. I wish I would have started a company. I wish I would have not worried as much. But that's what life is. And perhaps the people who don't have the sense of urgency and don't do things, perhaps they're right. I'm not criticizing anyone. I'm not pinpointing anyone. It's just something that I don't understand. And again, I may be wrong and they might be right. But I do think that in the time, the world that we're living in the time of opportunity, yet people find themselves distracted, people find themselves depressed, anxious, and sad, while they could be doing exciting things at the same as they help other people. Something to think about. Thank you, and I hope it helps.